All right, everybody, welcome back to the Dirigo Union From the Forest to the Tide podcast. My name's Charles, and I'm here with Michel and Rob, and we are at the Hearts shop on 65 Hanover Street in Portland, Maine. I want to say thank you to the Hearts for getting our butts off the street and giving us a consistent place to be here. We're really, really excited to have access to this space. If you haven't been down to the shop yet, you got to come down. They're getting new merch in all the time. I'm seeing stuff that I didn't see here last week. So even if you've been here recently, come on down again. And like I said, I think the plan is to be here every other Saturday until our first game. More on that soon. So if you want to come down on Saturday mornings to the shop and say hi to us at the podcast, that would be very much appreciated as well. A lot has happened since we last came to you on episode 8. So we were thinking maybe we'd look at, chronologically what's going on and then break this into sections and attack this, because this is a bit of a doozy, this podcast.
I think this is probably going to be considered the most anticipated episode. We're 9 deep now, and
could be 11, but we've kind of some of those episodes were other things.
Yeah, they're more vlog content,
kind
of highlighting what we were doing at Hearts of Palooza and the kit reveal at the State Theater. But we've got players, we've got a coaching staff.
Well, let's see what happens. So on December 17th, we announced our very first player. So Michel Poon-Angeron is our first signing announced. And I have to say, this was nailed on by the sleuths at the DU. So in the Discord, the Dirigo Union, I had some footage from the event. Rob, you had a picture when Coach Bobby Murphy put up. He made a call during the event, and we actually got to hear his voice, and we knew he's from Trinidad and Tobago. So I think by the end of the night, we were comparing other recordings from interviews of players using your picture, and that was the name we came up with.
Yeah, between us and the Kennedy Park community, we nailed that accent immediately, because we weren't really sure. We knew it was probably a Caribbean accent.
Did we know it was Trinidad? I guess we didn't.
We didn't. Well, we did once.
So we did even better than I thought.
KP put out the audio clip and said, "Does anyone know who this is?"
Yeah. Yep.
And immediately it came back. That's a Trinidadian accent, and they said exactly.
I'm actually more impressed now. For some reason, I thought we had the country. Okay, so on December 19th, the schedule came out. So right after we had our episode. So we're going to go through all these. Right now, we're just kind of going through what happened. But quick highlights. So first game's in Naples on the 29th of March, and the home openers on May 4th. So May the 4th be with you indeed.
Just 106 days away.
That's crazy.
From today.
On the 28th, we had more player announcements. We had 3 of them. So we've been getting players in groups for the most part. We had Ollie Wright. He's a midfielder. Mikey Lopez and Jaden Jones-Riley. And you nailed Ollie Wright, Mitchell.
I did.
You said he was coming.
I just kind of sleuthing around online. Noticed he was following, the club, the league. And then started jumping in on DU stuff, like in the kit reveal and things like that. And no, I'm actually really excited about that one. And Mikey Lopez. I think that first group of signings outside of our initial signing was a very exciting bunch.
Yep.
But we'll touch on.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. So and then we get into January, because we had the holiday. Hope everybody had a great holiday. That's part of the reason why we were delayed as well. And New Year, whatever you guys were celebrating. Hope it went really well. Time with your family. All that stuff. So the New Year happened on the 9th of January. The Hearts welcomed Khalid Hersi as the first ever Mainer signing. So that was a big deal. He actually got MVP from Open Combine. The club released an epic, I think it was an epic video that they put out that had some behind the scenes stuff about him, his family, his story. If you haven't seen that yet, check it out. We'll talk a little bit about that, but that was an awesome moment. On the 10th of January, we saw Mickey Riley, who's a midfielder, Patrick Langlois. Talk about him. We met him. And Evan Southern is a forward. So that was on the 10th. Also on the 10th, we had our assistant coach announced, Alex Ryan. That's very interesting. And then on the 11th, the Union actually had our annual town hall. So just last week at Bunker Brewing. We want to talk about that, but we got to see Gabe and Bobby came out. We also got to meet Patrick Langlois and James Hilepo. Haven't announced him yet, but he was there at the event. He's the new director of soccer operations at the Hearts of Pine, and the Union launched our first merch drop. So, actually, I have the zipper on. Get more into that as well, so you can see how busy it has been. Okay, on the 13th, the director of soccer operations, James Hilepo, like I said, he was at Bunker for our town hall. On the 14th, we had 2 more announcements: Samuel Camacho, who's a defender, and Nathan Messer, who's also a defender. And then we had our last announcements yesterday on the 17th. Today's the 18th. Colby Quinones and Kamali Green. Colby's a defender. Kamali's a defender as well. So a lot has happened. And we're gonna start with the schedule because it's a great place to start. So season opener, March 29th in Naples. And a lot of us in the union have been talking about how desperate, we are to get there, no matter where the first game was, to see these guys for the very first time when they're lining up in their Hearts of Pine jerseys, when they're on they're on the field as a team. It's going to be amazing. So I'm 99% sure I'm going. Mitchell, you already got tickets.
I got my flight. We're working on the group tickets right now and hotel block. So right now we have about 40 members saying they're coming down,
which is
to
awesome.
Florida. And if you want to go, let us know. Shoot us an email, message us in the Discord. We'll get you the ticket and hotel information as well as flight information. A lot of us are flying down the day before out of Boston, and it's going to be a great weekend.
And if people can go together, it'd be a super fun trip. I mean, to get on the same plane, to be there.
I know there's I want to say already 6 or 7 of us on the flight down.
There's 40 though already. 40 people we know about.
Yeah, there's
if we had 50, that's a solid chunk.
Yeah, and the club is obviously having a lot of friends and family come down from the front office.
I am not going. I'm holding up the fort here in Portland. I'm sure we're going to get some information about a watch party for that first game coming out soon. I'll be heading up that crew, helping out there. I think it's going to be a really cool time. I wish I could go down. Just got a lot going on this year. So I'm saving my travel money for hopefully the end of the season when hopefully we start making a playoff run. That's my hope.
That makes a lot of sense, yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm not 100% yet, but I'm pretty sure I'm getting down there. Got some family down there, so I'm going to try and make it happen. Our home opener is on May 4th.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So we're playing, how many games are we playing before the actual home opener? Is it 5? Because there's some, is there?
4.
4. It's 4.
It might end up being 5 because we're gonna have we probably will have an Open Cup match, at least one Open Cup match.
That's our very first official game, I think. Right? Is it an Open Cup?
I don't know. They haven't released the actual schedule yet for the Open Cup. Typically, that comes out. They do the draw usually sometime in February. Mm-hmm. So once we get that, we'll have a little bit more information about when that match is, where it's going to be. But I mean, we still don't have scheduled times yet either for the league. So there's some details that are still being worked out as we get a little bit closer to the season.
Right. And do we? I don't know if we have the schedule posted on the Union's website, but it's certainly available on the Hearts website. So check that out to see the official schedule yourselves.
And it's posted in the Discord, too.
It's posted in the Discord as well. So we also have. I want to talk about the home opener just a little bit more, just because. I mean, I'm a little sad that it's after so many games, a chunk of games in, like for the team to not be able to play at their home stadium in front of their own fans, right in front of us, since it's such a moment. But it totally makes sense with the field renovations that are happening at Fitzy, and also with the weather in Maine. Preseason's going to be, what do we hear from Bobby? Preseason's in Florida, part of it anyway. There was just
Bermuda.
A preseason game. Is that our first friendly in Bermuda?
I don't know. So we did not find out about this friendly from the Hearts per se. We found out from a press release. Rhode Island Football Club released their preseason schedule, and as part of that, they announced they're going to be going to a round robin competition in Bermuda.
Thank you.
And as part of that announcement, they announced the 3 teams they'll be playing. It's a Bermudan select team, Rhode Island, and then us. So we know we are going to Bermuda. I don't remember the date off the top of my head.
February 24th, I believe.
There you go. Monday. Mitchell coming through.
But that is an open match. If you want to
take the
flight, if you want to take the flight to Bermuda, you can go to that game. I don't think we have a time of what time of day that match is happening, but you can go.
I wonder what the
I thought about it. I definitely looked at flights, and they're not bad.
I'm 100% out of that.
Yeah, no, it's the time. There's too much stuff to get done at home before the home opener, and we have a Jägermeister Cup match, or as Bobby says, the Jägerbomb Cup at Hartford before our home opener as well. The weekend before we'll be in
maybe that's
in
what
Hartford,
I was thinking of. Yeah,
on April 26th.
Yeah. So in the Jägermeister, or I like Jägerbomb Cup. That's even better. The away days are Hartford and Rhode Island, like you said. Only 2 weekday games.
Yeah, I think there were Wednesdays too. Which out of 17, I'll take 15 on the weekends or Friday nights. I think it speaks volumes to making sure that the community can come out. I think in other sports here locally, there's a lot of mixed in weeknight games.
Yeah.
So that's the beauty of the beautiful game, I guess, is typically on weekends we're going to be getting to see our Hearts play. So I'm excited about that.
I think overall, I'm really excited about Pittsburgh coming to town. I'm really excited about Naples, and obviously super excited about the home opener. But I haven't looked at every single game yet to see what I mean, especially all the home games. So I'm a season ticket holder. We got a couple season tickets. I think there's still, if you're not a season ticket holder, there's a couple packages available from the Hearts. That's kind of the only way at this point to get a ticket to the home opener.
Yeah, we heard, I think Kevin said on News Center Maine or another local media outlet earlier this month that they're not anticipating selling individual tickets to the home opener. It's only going to be for season ticket holders, and then if you buy the game pack, because there's just that much interest, they don't need to sell individual tickets.
I noticed though the Hearts does have this last week. They had some announcements go out with local, like the High Roller Club, and what was the other one?
That's the $3 Dewey's package.
$3 Dewey's package. So I'm assuming those are available probably for the opener. So if you want to have a more premium experience, I guess that's fair to say is what they're going for.
Premium field
level behind the goal, and then also on the track.
Yeah, there's food and drink packages included in that.
Yeah. So you could bring a whole group of entertain everybody and be set. So if you're interested in that, that's on the Hearts website as well.
I heard something about a lobster roll buffet, or
that's the rumor going around. Yeah, that's the high for the high rollers.
I thought that was just player lunch, like a little step up from oranges when I was a kid.
Yeah,
we get lobster rolls to the player. That would be sick.
A little bit of lemon on the side,
Yeah. Mayo or no mayo in your lobster rolls?
If it's a gloomier
or butter.
If it's a gloomier summer day, I like a cold mayo lobster.
I like
lobster
a cold
salad.
mayo lobster roll.
But if
no, I'm a hot butter
You're a
guy.
hot man.
But I'll tell you. Actually, my favorite is I don't know if Charles, you've ever been to it. Joe Lane in Damascotta. I love their dill lobster roll.
Oh no, dill on a lobster roll.
That's excellent.
Is fantastic. There's a little place down in oh god, we don't have to go in our podcast. But anyway, my favorite lobster roll happens to have a dill on it as well. So okay,
if I'm gonna do all the work to get some lobster, I'd rather just dunk it in some butter. And
I don't dunk it with anything when I eat it.
the roll. Just give me the meat, dunk it in some melted butter.
I don't like butter on lobster because then I just taste the butter. So when I eat,
is there a problem with that, Charles?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I love the way lobster tastes. So if I'm eating lobster, cleaning it myself and all that, which is most of the time what I'm doing, no butter, nothing. But if I'm gonna have a lobster roll, cold mayo, some dill.
Okay.
Yeah.
Respect.
Okay.
All right. If you want to hear more about lobster rolls, no more. Find another podcast. Sorry about that. That was a bad tangent. All right, let's get to the Union Town Hall at Bunker Brewing, the event we had last week. That was fantastic. As a fellow Union member, say thank you everybody for coming out who came out, and to the Hearts for having everybody there. Bobby and Patrick and Gabe, and also Alex, and also our new operations manager. His name is James. Thank you very much. I didn't get to talk to James. I wish I had, but that was amazing. The event was amazing. The beer was fantastic. It was really well attended. We had the chants. We had it looked like there were a couple camera crews there doing recording as well. Yep. So there will be some footage eventually coming out. We had the audio running, so thanks for anybody who tuned in, especially to our fans overseas that were checking that out as well.
Sorry for the internet poofing.
Sorry for the internet poofing. There's nothing we can do about that. But so we had a Q&A. I also want to talk a little bit about the conversations we had just on our own. I want to apologize for being very tipsy. I know that during the Q&A, I asked a couple questions. I remember asking one of them. So
I think you
hopefully
asked,
they were respectful.
I remember what you asked. You asked about when one of the tall players coming, and I think the next day we got a 6-foot player.
Well, that was all over the Discord. Everybody's going, I didn't really think about it, but everybody's going, hey, 6 midfielders are announced, and nobody's over 6 feet tall. So I threw that out there in my tipsiness. Was like, hey, Bobby, when are we getting some 6-foot plus people? And I believe he answered.
He did. Yeah, and we got Samuel Camacho. He is. Yeah. He's a tall guy.
Yeah, good. So he brings up our whole average.
Yep.
I think Kamali is like 6'2".
Yeah, he's
seemed like the
too,
couple of the last couple, and Patrick.
Yes,
was over 6 foot. It seemed like it when I was talking.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. He may have been in like maybe Pat. Did you wear like super high boots that day? We don't know. Super tall boots.
He did drink a Moxie. That I handed him a can.
I didn't see that happening at the event.
He walked in.
Yeah, that's excellent.
Oh, you did that?
I did that.
That was good on you.
So
good move.
I don't know who brought the 12 pack. I think it was Colin from his leftover Moxie chili.
Yeah.
But I handed him a can. He took a sip and he enjoyed it. He didn't get the bitter notes, and it was a little bit of the blue and black versus gold and white dress phenomenon that happened back in the day. Talked a little bit about that. It's like, people think this is bitter, and then
depends on the day.
Then he made the connection to this is probably Maynard's version of Vegemite.
Vegemite.
I've never thought of it that way, but yeah, I mean,
I just don't know what Vegemite is.
I've never had it. I just know the tales that you only like it if you're like from Australia.
Oh, so that's why. Okay,
so
a Vegemite sandwich.
It was good to. I mean, we have the Moxie shirts right behind us.
We do.
Glad to be feeding our local delicacy to our new players.
Do you think that'll accompany the lobster roll buffet? I don't think so.
I know a lot of people are lobbying for them to have Moxie on tap at the game, so we'll see what happens.
Wouldn't that be funny? That'd be awesome.
That'd be kind of cool. Yeah.
Sorry, so what else? We had the Q. What else did Bobby answer? Remind me. We talked a little bit about new players. He gave us some hints. There was a really interesting hit, if I remember correctly. He said that one of the players had a sibling or maybe a family member who was playing in the NFL.
Yes,
in the upcoming weekend.
I don't know if we ever got an answer on who that was, or if they
brought a hint. We just didn't go there.
Yeah, well, I tried to find out. I went Googling, went down a couple rabbit holes. I could not find out who is this player that has a brother playing in the NFL. So I don't know if it's someone who hasn't been announced yet or what.
Well, how many spots do we think we have left? 8 to 10?
They've announced what? They've announced 9 players.
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, I would expect a roster of about 25 at the end.
No, I think he said 20 or less.
Oh,
where did I hear that officially? I apologize if. Yeah.
Well, I guess that's Miami FC had a roster.
Look it up and yell at us through where you're listening.
I guess it's not crazy, but I would hope for a little bit larger.
Okay.
Just because towards the end of the season, you're gonna start to have players that need to get rotated just because of injuries and other things. So I would hope for a roster between, I'd say, like 22 and 25 personally.
Okay. And Mitchell's right. We're at 12 now. I forgot about the most recent announcements yesterday.
Yeah.
So yeah, we're at 12. Patrick asked answered some questions. I think I asked him as well what it was like to sign for a club that was brand new on our inaugural season. And I loved his answer. He just seems like a really great person. And he said it was absolutely part of his decision to come to the Hearts, and he's really excited to get started. And yeah, I thought he knocked it out of the park, and it was really cool for them to bring a player with him. And then right after the event, right after the questions, somehow Rob and I were over hanging out with Alex Ryan, and he's definitely over 6 feet.
Oh yeah,
that doesn't help us on the field. So he's our new assistant coach.
We're sitting there and we're like looking up, like, "Hey, how's it going, Alex? Nice to meet you."
I know. But man, I think he had a good time too. Like,
we talked a lot about the reason for the move and what he's kind of excited for, and I knew of his reputation. I did a little bit more digging, and what I think is interesting about him is he's a really defensive minded coach. That's
what he talked about.
That's the system he 100% ascribed to down with Seacoast.
Yeah.
And I've heard from other teams that have played in that league, other podcasts say that was a big source of grief for them because they had to play against this team that had such a good defensive mindset. And when you think about the Fitzy situation of the field being so narrow,
he talked about the narrowness.
It might not be the most attractive soccer, but it is something we need. We need a defensive-minded strategy because of how narrow that field is.
I think it's a little bit of yin and yang too.
Yeah.
Like Bobby has come out and vocalized wanting to be an aggressive, on the ball, on the front foot team, very attacking minded. If we lose possession, get it back quickly. And I think bringing in somebody like Alex is going to provide that defensive stability when we lose the ball, as well as helping develop these younger players that may have the USL2 experience, might be able to tap into that a little bit easier than Bobby, who's coming in from MLS Next and hasn't been in the league for a few years.
We're painting a picture, though, of hard work, hustle, pressing, narrow field that makes we're starting to see something develop here without actually seeing our players play yet. And it might not be. I'm not saying we're going to hoof it down the field, but it seems driven out of necessity. With the size of the field, also the types of players we're finding. But I don't think anybody's going to get much joy coming to Fitzy. We're going to try and outwork some teams here, is what it sounds like.
Oh yeah, I think not going to try. I think we are.
Right, we are going to. The whole lead with your heart. You gotta find guys with good resting heart rates and good blood pressure.
Yeah. It helps when we're signing below league average,
very young
players.
Team. Yeah, very young
average
team.
23, 24 years old when the league average is mid 25.
Yeah.
So all I can say is I'm super, super excited for what we're building here and the signings that we've brought in, because that puzzle is starting to become a little bit more clear.
So let me ask you guys, because I was listening to the USL show this week, and they did a big episode on all the teams and how they're developing for the next upcoming season. And talking about Hearts of Pine, one of their hosts, Kaylor Hodges, brought up that we've got quite a bit of an unknown quantity here with our players. And he brought up the fact that must be a little nerve-wracking for fans, just not knowing where these players are going. And it got me thinking, at least, yeah, that's true, but at the same time, the amount of confidence that Coach Murphy puts off, I'm completely at ease with a lot of these signings. Certainly, I think they're going to need to develop as a team, but I'm not really feeling that kind of concern. I was wondering what you guys thought.
What do you think, Mitchell?
I'm not concerned. I'm not
Mitchell's
at all.
Not concerned.
Yeah. I think I alluded to it with the first 4 signings. And I think those speak volumes when you bring in a player that's capping for their club and country on a regular basis. You bring in a veteran player with MLS experience and a connection in the past in Mikey Lopez. I think every single signing has meant something. And it's not just spending to bring in a roster just to field a team. We're bringing in key pieces that are going to fit what we're trying to build here. And if you're not bought into that, we'll see you later.
Yeah, and I trust these guys. Yeah, I'm bought into it. I feel uneducated where if I'm going to go talk about any one of these players in particular, I'd have to go watch a highlight reel. Yeah, you know what I mean? And that's not, in my opinion, that's not the best way to really evaluate a player. So obviously the Hearts is doing a hell of a lot more than that. They're not signing players on highlight reels. So I trust these guys. And it does feel this way, that I reiterate everything or echo everything Mitchell says, that it feels like every signing has an intent behind it, and we don't have the whole picture yet. So I mean, I'm uneasy because it's also our first season, and to start a team from absolutely nothing is daunting. Right. So I want to see, how do you guys expect us, I guess it would be my question, is to hit the ground. You expect us to hit the ground running, or do you think it will take a quarter or a half of, of the whole season to feel like we found ourselves?
I think just because of the amount of time and the fact we're still signing players. Preseason starts this week. But we don't have a full roster yet. I think as of last week, Coach Murphy said we had 15 players signed. So that's obviously not a full. That's not your whole roster. So we're going to be signing people up through up to opening day. And I would even expect a few signings after opening day. So I think it'll take some time. I'm not expecting the first 2 months to kind of be a 100% put together squad. I would say by the May-June timeframe, that's when I'm expecting them to kind of start to work together, start having better communication between all the players, and that's, I think, when you're going to see the squad take off.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And I think everybody's going to have patience.
Yeah, Coach Murphy said this is a deliberate process. This is one which he's thought about, and he's not going for fast. He's going for right.
I love some of the footage that's come out with Bobby, and I think it was day 1 of the tryouts, open combine. I guess those are separate things. But anyway, day 1, he's talking to the Mainers, and he's so self-deprecating in a good way, I think, very humble, where he was like, the club's probably going to fire me That's the nature of the business. So
Yeah.
it's like he's going to do his you just feel the man's going to give it his all. He's going to do his absolute best. He's going to stick to his principles and do what he thinks he should do, whether, and get the club where he thinks it should go. And hopefully that works out, which we all think it will. So it's too early to even think about otherwise. But should we talk about players? Should we, dive in? We got 12 guys. Talk about
the long list.
So,
I got a lot
episode
of
8 we have no
tabs open on my
players.
computer
Episode 9 we have 12 official players. So
announced,
right? And obviously we've got a little bit more. You just talked about that, Rob. So let's start with Michel Poon-Angeron. He's a midfielder. Said that he's from Trinidad and Tobago. First signing in the club history. Spent time in Argentina playing in the Banfield system.
Yep,
under
Banfield.
Hernan Crespo. That's a pretty big name. I remember that chip actually from Hernan Crespo that hurt my team at one point. But anyway, prior club AC Port of Spain.
Yep.
Tell me a little bit more about Michel.
So sure. So he played last season for AC Port of Spain, which is in the Trinidad and Tobago National League. It might be their only division. I don't know a whole ton about that league. Most of what you can find out about them is on their Instagram page. So I went in, I listened to a couple of interviews with him. I know he got at least one goal last season playing for AC Port of Spain. It seemed like he was one of their better players. The league highlighted him a couple times, talking about how good he was as a player. Typically, he plays as a box-to-box or a holding midfielder for them. He is also a member of the Trinidad and Tobago national team, which is
huge experience.
Which is kind of a big deal, actually. If you think historically, the Trinidad and Tobago national team has actually caused problems for the U.S. men's national team in the past.
Yeah,
they have
That's right.
They've been almost at the level of parity on a few times in our history. So that's kind of cool. And this is one quote I just wanted to share about him. I just thought it was really cool. I found this in an interview he gave to their federation. He said, "Trust me, I hear about that a lot of times, especially in the position I play as a defensive midfielder." He's talking about his height.
Oh, okay.
They look for somebody with size, somebody to win headers, but I make up with that with tenacity and controlled aggression. And I just think that was honestly...
and he has an 80-inch vertical, right?
Yeah. But no, I think that's really cool because that's kind of the kind of player that the whole team is looking for.
That's
They're
it right
looking
there.
for guys that have tenacity and controlled aggression. And I just thought it was a cool quote from our first signing.
Yeah.
And I think all the build up to announcing that first signing, the arrows were pointing that direction anyway.
Yep.
Bobby in his Allagash press conference when he was announced noted looking at the Caribbean and the talent that's south of the border. And I'm very excited with what I've seen from MPA. I think he is going to fit right into this squad, and he reminds me of a healthy Thiago in a way. He's just a small, gritty midfielder that's gonna do the work.
Is he that technical a player to remind you of Thiago?
I think he is.
Okay.
Like he's got great vision. He's great on the ball, and he's great at getting back to take it away. So I'm excited to see him work here in Portland.
Bobby also talked about England in his the English
certainly
leagues
did.
at the Allagash reveal. So our second player is an Englishman, Ollie Wright. Tell me about Ollie.
Another very, very technically gifted player. What a playmaker.
That's what I'm hearing.
He is
making things happen out there.
Creating chances left and right from the wing and centrally. Played with the RGV Toros for a bit. And then he has been at Huntsville in MLS Next Pro for the last year or two. Another exciting forward option, attacking option that we're going to see a lot of. I think he's going to be able to create chances from nothing, which we're going to need at Fitzpatrick. And
Rob's got some stats on him.
Yeah, so he last season playing for Huntsville, he had 1.89 chances created per 90 minutes of play. And he had 33 total chances created last season. What I will say is also he's pretty good at long balls. He did 89 accurate long balls last season, and he's got an accuracy of about 64%. So I think those two things combined, he's a great guy to feed balls to a striker and really create those chances that we're going to need. Based on what looks like Bobby's system is forming. And I will say, I think he's a good player for Bobby Murphy. So when Bobby was at St. Louis City, the system he kind of ran was big on creating chances. I think that was my number one takeaway from watching some highlights of that team and then looking into their stats. He loves to get a high created chances statistic, so that way his players just have every opportunity to score that they possibly can.
Works for me. So he's an exciting playmaker to watch.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think he's entertaining too. I've watched a few highlights of him. He's very entertaining watching him swerving in and out and then getting the ball into the box.
I did watch some Ollie Wright highlights, and he followed me on Instagram this morning, so I might paint a mural.
I heard he also offers classes. You know, yeah. You can book a session with Ollie Wright to teach you some supporters.
I think the union should book a session with Ollie Wright.
I've seen a couple of players getting ready to do that, which makes me very excited about.
That is cool.
You know, the opportunities that are on the horizon for this community.
Yeah.
And also, thank you, Ollie, for recording a short video for the supporters group.
Yes, thank you very much.
You know, he mentioned that a lot of these guys and all the guys on the squad can't wait to repay the faith that we've put in them already.
He's obviously checking out the social medias and the fans.
The players are aware of the fan base here. They're aware of the excitement around this club, and I think it means a lot for them to come up here and play in front of this group of people.
It feels that way, which just feeds the system and feeds the whole thing. So, all right, Jaden Jones-Riley. He's a right back, American.
Yeah, not a lot of information on him.
I noticed you put International Man of Mystery.
Yeah. You know, I went looking for some information on him. There's a Font Mob page for him, and actually maybe I could pull it up right now. But, yeah, not a lot of information. He typically plays in a right back position, or he did at least when he was with the Timbers. Yeah, I mean, he seems like a solid player. Certainly just comparing the statistics with all the other players we've signed, he fits in that mold of everyone else we've been signing. But yeah, he did have a fair number of successful crosses last season. He had 13, which kind of, you know, matches what we're kind of looking for, people moving the ball into the box and providing those scoring opportunities.
I'm interested to see how much we play down the wing and work in crosses as opposed to getting to the byline, pulling back on the floor. Just like that balance, especially with the narrow field. That's a big interest for me.
I think with having two really box-to-box midfielders and having Alex Ryan step in as a defensive-minded coach in an aggressive system, we're going to see a lot of play from the wing backs. We've seen the modern game kind of evolve and play through your wing backs. So I think he fits into the system really well. He's quick and can sling in a good cross. So I think he's going to help shore up the space on the touch line.
Yep.
Excellent. Mikey Lopez. Another player that recorded a video for a union event.
The veteran.
He's the veteran. I'm hearing rumors of possible captain.
Yeah, I mean, he certainly has that experience, and he also has a pretty interesting history with Bobby, too, having been with Bobby when Bobby was coaching at St. Stephen's Episcopal down in Texas as an academy. Mikey was one of his players.
Tons of MLS experience.
Yep.
Spent the last 5 years in Birmingham with the Birmingham Legion. Coming off a pretty major injury a year and a half ago.
Was that the ACL?
I think it was an Achilles.
Oh, sorry, it was an Achilles, but a big one. I mean, a pretty big injury.
It's a big injury.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think coming to Portland is a good opportunity for him to get his game back. I think he's excited to come play here. It's a new opportunity with a familiar face in Bobby, and he's said that it's one of the biggest driving forces as to why he is buying in. And I'm excited to have somebody with as much experience at the top level in America as he has, as well as being a great leader for our young midfield core.
Yeah, you need that experience.
You know, having a player like Mikey Lopez come in and be able to teach Khalid, you know, the next level, the next step, I think is very, very important for a young team.
Yeah, I totally echo that. What did we say his age? How old Mikey Lopez?
I think he's 31.
Yeah, I knew. Okay,
yes,
so
he is 31.
I was going to say he's either 30 or 31.
His birthday's coming up, February 20th.
Happy birthday, Mikey.
Happy birthday.
All right. Yep. Khalid Hersi was announced as our first Mainer midfielder. American, obviously. Spent time playing in. Actually, I'll let you do that, Rob.
Yeah,
you got all these stats.
Yeah,
about
he
him,
spent time. He's most recently, he was with Wright United, which is a UPSL team. That's kind of the unofficial fourth division in American soccer. They play semi-pro up in Lewiston. So he's been playing there.
He's a Lewiston. He went to Lewiston High School.
Yeah, went to Lewiston High School. He's been around. He's got a lot of good experience in that league. He was named to the Team of the Week for the UPSL New England Premier League 3 times this past season. And he's kind of been a standout. We've heard a lot in the news media recently about how his coaches have always felt, including his coach, Lewiston High School, always thought he was a standout player. He was actually selected by an academy in Spain to go there with free tuition. He spent some time there learning in a very professional setting how to play the game, and recently came back and was selected as one of our first signings. Which is awesome. And our first mainer.
The MVP, which they're making a big deal about. For good reason, of the Open Combine.
Yeah.
So obviously, he not only he really stood out.
Yes.
Right. So
yes.
and I saw it was reiterated. I can't remember by the club at one point. Maybe it was Bobby himself, but just saying as the first mainer signed, this is not a publicity stunt. Mm-hmm. This guy deserves to be here, 100%. And his brother was also trying out, and he's going to apparently he didn't make it this time, but maybe next year, that type of thing.
Yeah.
So
great soccer.
Is that an older brother?
Yeah.
Khalid's younger, right?
I think he's 2 years older.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's quite a few Hersies.
There's a big soccer
they're
family.
A big family. Yeah.
Which is awesome to see.
Yeah.
And I love the video that we got to see a little bit about his family. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's very, very touching, heartwarming. Everything about this club, everything this club is about, I think is epitomized in that video.
Yeah. And most recently, was it last night? No, Thursday night, Lewiston night in Tom Karen, Khalid, a few of the players went out to Lewiston Middle School, and the way he's handling himself after this, he definitely sees the responsibility of being the first mainer. He understands the responsibility of being a Lewiston soccer player and what he is doing for the kids in that community, and you can see how much it means to those youth soccer players and the kids at Lewiston. It's really special.
Makes it very real for that area.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah. And did we have anybody else signed from tryouts at this point?
Mickey Riley.
We do. Mickey Riley was also at the Open Combine and was signed. I don't know if we want to jump around and talk about him now.
Yeah, we can talk about him now. Absolutely.
We'll
go Mickey first.
Yeah,
go ahead, Mitch.
I'll start with Mickey, and I didn't get to go to the day that established Mickey Riley as a fan favorite among DU members. That was the one day I didn't go, and I got messages from 4 or 5 different members this Mickey Riley kid's really good. He's another midfielder, more of an attacking option in my opinion. Definitely senses when to attack the net and scoop up those second chance opportunities. Hell of a long foot on him. Mm-hmm. He has an eye for goals from deep, and an unbelievable facilitator of the ball as well. I'm thinking he's going to have some fans here in Portland beyond just the Dirigo Union. I think a lot of people are excited to see Mickey.
Yeah.
Great with assists too. He went to Carthage College and he holds their assist record as a player. So he's again
for his entire time there or in a season.
I think it's his entire time. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Did he tell you how many? I'm putting you on the spot.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
He had 8 goals and 4 assists last season.
Yeah, he had that last season. So his total number of assists.
I wonder if he's the player that really stood out to me on the Sunday.
He
might be.
So he has 30 assists across his time at
solid.
Carthage. Yeah,
solid. All right. So Patrick Langlois. He's from Australia, right? And he was there at the Bunker Brewing event, Dirigo Union Town Hall, and we got to talk to him. I was tipsy, as I've said many times.
We didn't know who was showing up until they showed up. We just had unannounced player coming.
He was awesome. I really like Patrick right away.
Like I said earlier, the second he stepped foot in the door, he had a can of Moxie in his hand. And I think the most exciting thing for me is that he is coming off a season with silverware.
Yes.
In northern Colorado, a very successful campaign over there.
Absolutely.
Unfortunate that we are seeing them depart the league after winning the inaugural Jägermeister Cup and then making it all the way to the final in the USL One Championship. But I think it's another key piece in our midfield, another great box-to-box player.
Yep.
We're kind of seeing this revolving door. It's every one of them has a little bit of a different secret weapon, but they're all incredibly high working, great visibility for a pass.
87% passing accuracy. That is
it's crazy.
That is a stat. Holy hell.
And he played in the top flight of Australian football just a few years ago. He was playing in the A-League. So I think it's another great signing to bolster our midfield. Have somebody come in with some experience.
I'm super excited about Patrick personally. I think he's going to be a performer.
Oh, yeah.
I mean? And consistent. Obviously, he shows a lot of consistency.
Yes.
Right? And with players who have a lot to prove, you never know about consistency.
No.
Right? Which sometimes is like what really makes a professional, being able to do it every week.
Yeah.
Right? So super excited about that. Yep. Another long ball mover in Rob's notes. So 64% long ball accuracy is pretty solid.
Before we move on to the next player, I just want to interject real quick.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mario.
Yeah.
Shout out to Mario, all the way up from DC. One of the the founding members of Dirigo Union. We would not be sitting in here 4 years later from his idea of bringing a supporter group to support this club. So shout out to Mario. Super excited to see him. I think we're going to see him down in Florida. So
excellent.
But yeah, I just wanted to give him a quick shout out.
I'm glad you did that. So, and once again, to the store, to everybody here.
Yeah.
It's a place to be. It's super busy.
Hopping.
We're here early, this place, it gets crowded. So get here early. And like we said, new merch coming in all the time. I think after this podcast is over, we're dropping. Probably going to go buy some more stuff.
Yeah. Once again, the club is going to own my wallet.
Yeah, I got to get a scarf to send out for the USL Discord scarf swap. So
yeah, that's very cool.
Sending one to Las Vegas.
Viva Las Vegas.
That's terrible. We'll cut.
That's not going in.
All right, Evan Southern, very young player, right? He's out of school. He's coming to us out of college, right?
Yes.
American. Sorry.
JMU.
Connecticut native. I also looked up some highlights from this guy, and seems like pretty scrappy in a good way.
Yeah,
like
I'd agree.
A hard worker once again, right? But I don't know how tall he is. I'm assuming. I think all the under 6 foot talk was still happening when he was
5'10".
There you go, 5'10". So he's not a huge target man, but like a hard worker, scrappy player. I expect to, but seems very technical as well. So kind of interesting mix there.
Yeah.
But he's our only striker that we've announced, right? So leading the line, at least right now he is.
Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of research yesterday on the other strikers that are available in the market right now domestically, and I think Evan. We'll see. It's kind of hard to tell. I just want to give a real quick diss to the NCAA. Get better statistics for soccer players. They're absolutely horrible. Trying to research these college guys. I want to do them justice, but the NCAA needs to get step up a little bit on their statistical reporting for soccer.
It'd be interesting to me if we're going to go with one up top. Is he that guy?
Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to figure out. Is that the plan? It's just kind of a little hard to tell, especially with college
it's too
players.
early.
It's too early. There's not a ton of highlights out there.
Yeah, I struggled to find much. So.
And highlights only tell you so much without watching a full game because you see what happens when there's action, but you kind of need to see what they're doing when they don't have the ball, their positioning. You need to see where the other players, how they communicate around him. So there's some other things you need to see too.
And work rate doesn't come through.
No, it doesn't.
All of that. So yeah, totally. Have you checked out Evan?
I like what I've seen.
Yeah.
Don't need to beat a dead horse, but it is tough to gauge a player when the NCAA doesn't kind of do it justice on the statistical end, and it's hard to find footage outside of just a highlight reel. But I think he's feeling that scrappy, tenacious player. I think he's going to again be able to find the back of the net plenty with the.
Yeah, I hope he gets a hat trick.
With all of our playmaking in the midfield and on the wings, I don't think he's going to find it hard to take chances.
Yeah, he did get a hat trick in 2023, according to his page here with JMU. So,
hat trick hero.
Yep.
Evan Southern. All right, Samuel Camacho, defender, 6 feet tall. Go ahead, Rob.
I think he's actually 6'4".
6'4"?
Yeah, I didn't actually go in and double check that statistic, but yeah, he's taller. He's been playing in Europe for a little while. He's I think he's a Finnish international, if I'm correct, with some Cuban ancestry.
Yep.
So he's been playing over in Finland and Poland last couple of years, coming over to us. So let me see what I got here for statistics. So he specializes as a left-footed center back, born in Brazil, actually.
Oh, he's the guy that was born in Brazil.
Yep,
Okay, yeah. Spent his young years in Brazil.
I played in the Finnish First Division in 2022, made an appearance in the Finnish Cup Final in 2024. Currently, he was with Flota, and I'm going to butcher this, Swinujasi.
Swinujasi.
Yeah,
Swinujasi. Yeah. We're butchering that.
I
guarantee
we're so
that
sorry for our
absolutely.
Hearts fans in Poland for how I just destroyed that name. But yeah, he's continued to develop his reputation as a defender over there, and he's it's kind of interesting. Another comment I heard earlier this week is that we've been getting a lot of deep cut players from international leagues, which I don't think is a bad thing. It's bringing I think that's actually a good thing for us to do, is bring players into the United States, because if you look at other markets, maybe more quote-unquote proper footballing countries, there are some players that get disrespected there, and they're perfectly good players that are just playing at lower leagues over there, and they want a bigger opportunity, so they come over here to the U.S. and really show their stuff. And I think that Samuel might be one of those guys that we're bringing over and will really explode. He's definitely a more experienced guy, which I think is good for this squad.
He was on a team that got promoted in his division, right?
Yeah.
So that's good experience.
I think that's good to have those people coming in, especially it seems like, between Mikey Lopez as a midfielder and Samuel as a defender, we're really kind of building experience on those two lines. And I think they'll help really grow other players around them.
No notes.
Nathan Messer.
I'm excited about
Defender.
this signing. I think he could play anywhere he's told to on the pitch. Like he's played out on the right wing a little bit. He's played in the midfield. But we're bringing him in as a defender.
Yep.
I think most people are thinking that he's going to be slotted into that left back role. Really exciting talent. He went to Providence College.
He did, yep. Well, I think he went to UVM and then spent a season at not UVM. I'm sorry, William and Mary, and then went to Providence College for a 5th year.
Spent time at Vermont Green, and unfortunately didn't really fit into Kano's plans at RIFC last year. I think he only had 4 appearances, but did have a pretty shining moment in the U.S. Open Cup. So I think bringing him up to Maine is a good move. Clearly a type of player that championship level clubs are looking at, has experience in the USL too, and has roots in New England. So I think it's a no nonsense move.
Yeah, I think we've heard from fans both in Rhode Island and then also in Vermont that he's a good signing and that we should be really happy to have him on our roster.
I like the sound of him being an all-rounder that can play in multiple positions, Mitchell. I mean, with a team like this, you need that. I think. Yeah, especially for your first season as you're going to figure this stuff out. So, very cool. So you guys are both excited about Nathan.
Very.
Colby.
Quinones.
Yep. Defender. I almost said defensive midfielder, but no, he's a right back.
Yep.
Another right back, all-time appearance leader for Revs 2, has spent the better part of 8 or 9 years there.
Oh, that is a long time.
Another player with some New England roots. I believe he's a Puerto Rican international. I think bringing him in to provide some competition to Jaden Jones-Riley is great. You're putting up an MLS Next Pro against a USL 2 or another MLS or USL 1 is where he started actually when Revs 2 were there, and now another MLS Next Pro right back coming in to kind of fight for that spot.
Seacoast Academy product, huh?
Another Seacoast product. So it checks all the boxes for me.
Is he late 20s?
No,
Early.
He's only 21, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah,
it seems like
he has a lot of experience. He got a lot of experience in the Revolution system.
Yeah.
Very young. So that's kind of cool. Like, 21, you're still at an age where you can still
He's 21.
develop as a player. Yeah, it's 21.
Oh, man. That's very young.
According to Transfer Market.
According to Transfer Market, yeah. That's what it says. But yeah.
Ask him his real age when you meet him, Rob.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me, how old are you?
No, I think it's another great pickup. I like the depth we're starting to see. Yeah, I think a lot of us were a little apprehensive when 6 of the first 7 signings are midfielders, and you're like, hey, what the heck is going on here?
Yeah.
But now it's starting to make sense when you're pulling in these experienced players, and I think it's going to be some good competition on the right side.
I like this stat, very Bobby-centric stats. 1 possession in the final third 6 times last season, 0.75 times per 90 minutes. So another guy who's obviously pressing, trying to win the ball high up the field. So that's great. Kamali Green,
another defender.
Yep.
I think our right center back.
Yeah. Jamaican. He's a Philadelphia Union Academy product. He's been in Philadelphia for quite some time. He also played for Temple University. Helped take them to their conference playoffs this year. Another player, not a ton of statistical information out there for, but one cool fact I found out about him is he actually, as well as being a player, he also coaches youth soccer in Philadelphia, and he kind of has that exposure, which I don't think is a bad thing. It kind of shows you a different side. I mean, you're a youth soccer coach.
That's true.
It teaches you something else.
Absolutely, especially with today's youth. I'll tell you what it teaches. Tell you what it teaches me. But that's great. Maybe a leader at the back. He's
one thing
keeping everybody together, right?
One thing that stood out to me was the fact that he was on the second all-conference team, and I think toward the end of the year, if not the last 3 weeks of the season, won 2 or 3 consecutive Defender of the Weeks. So he's in a good bit of form. I think he's a young, exciting player. He is listed as a midfielder, so I think it's the 6 role if he's in a single defensive,
take over that role,
or slotting into that right center back slot. I think he's 6'2", 6'1", 6'2".
Well, he's our most recent, as of today. This is going to go out Monday, so hopefully we get this out before there's any more signings.
Yeah, right.
Like tomorrow, I guess would be the day. But he's our most recent signing.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Announced. So we did it. But we also got our assistant coach, Alex Ryan.
Yep, we got him.
Who was in the rumor mill to be the head coach at one point.
Yeah, when we wrote the article earlier this year about possible head coaches, we did include him on the list because one, he was so close, and then also he had just won the USL2 national championship just a couple months before that.
Right.
So he's a guy he's been at Seacoast for a very long time, which we've seen quite a few Seacoast players either try out for the team or get signed, like Colby. So I think having him come in, it provides a lot of local knowledge.
I'm thrilled with it.
Really going to help.
Yeah, I'm thrilled to see him as assistant coach. I mean, you have somebody as assistant that could be the head coach, really.
Yeah, well, I think it says something of how the league is progressing. A couple of years ago, you could be a really good USL2 coach and move on and become a head coach at any club. Nowadays, as the play gets more advanced and, these squads get better and better players, you need a little bit of a higher tier coach. You want a little bit more experience. So I think it's good we have him around and he's getting that professional experience. He said earlier this year in an interview with the Blazing Musket, he was looking to make some career advancement. And I think moving up to professional ranks is really going to be good for him and us.
Absolutely.
And I think it says something about the future too. Like, could be a potential successor, could help with a lot of these transition youth players or younger players that may have either played for him at Seacoast or have a few years of USL2 experience or UPSL experience looking to get to that next level, and it creates some rapport over time that I'm excited about.
Yeah.
After speaking with him, I'm even more excited about having him on the team, and such another down-to-earth human being. And obviously very experienced. I love the main experience. Say it again, with Seacoast. I think that's huge, though. The more I like to see as much of that as possible in the club. And I already love the guy. Tipsy conversation is like the way to meet somebody. Like, Alex, as I look up into your You have blue eyes. Do you remember blue, brown, whatever your eyes are? See, they
whatever.
don't remember that, but yeah, I'm gonna go there. All right, James Hilepo. So he was also at Bunker.
He was at the kit reveal.
He was at the. Oh, was he?
Yeah.
The kit reveal. I'm sorry, James.
He was the one that got us squared away.
Really?
Yes.
I very much apologize. I'm just drunk all the time. I never know that's my excuse.
Yeah.
But he's also coming over. Same position, director of soccer operations from Hailstorm.
Yep. Yeah, we met him
Colorado.
at the kit reveal. We met him. He had literally just gotten off the plane from Colorado. I think the day beforehand or the
Was
same
I
day.
there with you?
Yeah.
No.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you were. I don't know if you were setting up. You might have been setting up the equipment, but
See,
yeah,
that's the thing.
a
I'm
few
always
of us-
running around, setting up the camera, getting everything going while you guys are meeting important people, and then I go, I never
And,
met
that,
that
and
guy.
that's
They go,
why
yeah, you did.
that's why I haven't chimed in on your conversations at Bunker because I was the one running around doing stuff.
Yeah,
making
no, I
sure we
missed
were-
the whole. I missed the shot. I think Rob and I both missed the shot because we were talking to Alex.
Yeah,
the
I don't
picture
know
of the-
when
of
this
the
photo
union.
happened at Bunker last week,
He-
but
he-
I don't remember.
He did. He's like he came over. He told me, Charles, we're going outside. We're gonna have a
5-minute
picture."
warning.
and we were knee deep in it with Alex. So
I didn't even notice everyone left the room.
I
I
got-
gotta be honest.
that is hard. It's a warehouse and it gets loud in there very quick.
and dark and yeah.
No, I did
I love
I
it,
did
though.
get a bullhorn, so we have that.
That's good.
I should have brought it. Maybe that would have gotten you two outside for a picture, but
Yeah, I don't
that
think
was
we
that
would've
was at
heard
the
it.
that
No,
was
I
the,
don't
that was
think so.
the, at the request of Patty too. He was
Yeah.
like, I want to get a picture with everybody. So we
Aw.
got him a
Can you just
scarf. We got
Photoshop
everybody.
us in with like holding balloons?
Yeah, you
We'll be
know,
up in
yeah,
the air.
yeah.
Like-
we can do that.
Well, welcome, James. I apologize for not remembering our first introduction. Big time shame on me. But we've got a little formation sheet here, Mitchell, that you threw on our notes. So.
I actually tossed that.
This
on
one
there.
this one's
What?
different
No,
than
no,
mine.
Mitchell did it.
Oh.
This one's different than mine.
No, Rob did it. Sorry. All righty. So this is a 4-2-3-1, basically. Is this
4-2-3-1 or a 4-2-2 or a
4-2-2.
4-2-2?
Yeah, I didn't.
4-2-2-2-2-2?
That's kind of what I think it's gonna be a 4-2-2-2. There's some questions here about this sheet though. I think that especially with the signings we got yesterday, like on here we have Wright kind of playing as kind of a center forward. I don't know.
Behind Southern, yeah.
Yeah, he's more of he can play as
He's
a shadow
off-
striker. Yeah,
That's what I was going to ask you. If that was what you were thinking when you put this together?
You know, I'm not really sure how they're looking to play him. I would say, because he could also be a left midfielder.
You want to walk
or-
us through this so people listening it occurred to me where
Yeah, so I'll give it. So we kind of have Southern up front as a center forward. We have Wright up front, kind of as a center forward, but more as a supporting.
the shadow striker.
Yeah, a shadow striker. Lopez and Riley are as attacking midfielders on the left and right, respectively. Playing as defensive midfielders, we have Poon-Angeron and Langlois. I'm sorry if I butchered that. Still
No, I
learning
think it's
pronunciations. Yeah. Left back, we have Messer. Our central defenders, we have Camacho and
Kamali Green.
Kamali Green. Thank you. He wasn't announced when I made this. And then right back, Jones Riley. And then obviously we do not have
A
goalkeeper announced yet.
How many goalkeepers will we sign? 2?
I'd say 2 or 3.
You think 3?
2 or 3.
2 or
Yeah.
3. All
Saving
righty.
the best for
So
last.
at least we have enough players to make a starting 11. I mean, we don't have a keeper.
We don't have a keeper
but
yet.
we could throw anybody could play goalie. So
Yeah, of course. We'll put me in there some games. We'll lose that game. Don't do that.
who was the guy that was it? Was the same Sam that tried out for
Sam Shepard, yeah.
Sam Shepard?
My buddy
Let's get
Sam.
Sam Shepard.
Yeah.
Until we get somebody announced.
Yes.
We should have written his name in there.
Yeah,
Get
of
Sam's
course.
moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's
Love
our
you,
players.
Sam.
We got through it.
Yeah.
I
We
mean,
did it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a limited amount of knowledge on some of these guys, and we cannot wait to see them and be able to talk
Meet
about
them, support
meet them,
them.
support them, and actually be able to see what
Sing their praise.
see this stuff firsthand. So,
Yeah, hopefully we'll hear a more definitive preseason schedule soon, and hopefully
Yeah.
one of those games will be open for us to go see and start to see how the team's developing through tryouts and practices and whatnot.
you're gonna have to travel.
Yeah, I guess
It's not gonna be up here. It's free.
Probably won't be. You're probably right.
It's nice today. 38.
I know. If it was today, I mean, you probably get a good game in today.
I'd go watch
on
a
a
game
turf
today.
field.
I mean,
yeah.
we'd be out there no matter what if it was.
That's
if it was,
true.
but,
That's
yeah,
true.
but
I'm
it's not gonna
committed.
happen. So.
I don't have my
committed.
bibs though.
Well, you can go drive home, drive back. All right, so let's do some housekeeping stuff. So, podcast is going to be here every other Saturday at open 11 a.m. If you guys want to stop by, can't say it enough. Get down here to the store. It's going to be here for a little while. I don't think it's just a pop-up store.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a good spot.
It's a good
Brian's
spot.
smacking me in the head. Don't call it a pop-up store, so I won't. It's awesome. Thanks again to the Hearts for giving us access to this space. Really, it's truly fantastic. And new merch all the time. These walls, they're going to run out of space if they keep releasing new stuff.
Well, yeah, except for as soon as they put stuff on the walls, it seems like it walks out the door.
No, it really does. It really does. It's a good looking bunch of merch. Like I haven't even seen that hoodie before.
No, I was thinking that when we got here.
So. I have it.
All right, so we talked a little bit about this earlier, but it's definitely time to guarantee your seat, home opener, with maybe like a mini plan.
You
if you don't have tickets already,
still place a deposit.
You can still place a deposit.
And that will put you on the wait list for season tickets. Some people will switch seats. Some people will move or not be able to attend anymore. Maybe they got a new job. So if you are looking at season tickets, I definitely recommend getting on the wait list to make sure that a Hearts representative will contact you when those do become available. And then outside of that, again, if you want to come down to Naples, let us know. Shoot us an email, info@dirigounion.com, or send us a message in the Discord, and we'll get you all the info for flights and hotel and tickets. That's coming right up in like 70 days.
Yeah.
I think we're 76 days away from the inaugural match, league match, we should say.
Right.
And then I think last but not least, the June Cork trip is just a week
Next
away.
week.
Yeah.
So
on January 25th.
June Cork is a pub down in New Hampshire.
Dover, New Hampshire. We're going to be waking up early.
Soccer pub.
Taking train 692, the Downeaster. It's the train that leaves out of Brunswick at like 7 a.m. I think it hits Portland just before 8. And then we'll get down there about a half an hour before the Premier League matches kick off. We'll spend the day. You can take the train home earlier if you want. I think I'm taking the 5 o'clock train back, but should be a great
I'm
weekend.
super excited about that.
Yeah, we've heard a lot of good things about that place. I've never been inside it, but I've looked at it. It's like right next to the train tracks. If you're going down to Boston, you can see the inside of it. It's got a wicked cool looking vibe, so it should be a great trip.
I also want to do a quick shout out to our buddy Sean, who's a Dirigo Union member and also working for the Blazing Musket. So he was just on a podcast, the Revolution Recap, last week. It's 2 parts. I believe part 1 is all that's out right now. By the time this comes out on Monday, part 2 will probably be available. But he did a great job on that, kind of representing the Hearts of Pine. And he was on with 3 or 4 other guests that were talking about soccer in New England. Mm-hmm. So definitely check that out, and a good way to get to hear some names of who else is up here talking about not just Revolution. So obviously it's a Revolution-based podcast, but
I'm sure we'll have Sean on that at some point, if not next weekend.
Also on the way down, I was listening to I think it came out on the 6th, so I'm a little late, but I was listening to Hearts UK, his podcast. I think it's Mike. Is it Michael?
Yes.
Yep. And I wanted to. It cracks me up every time. You got to listen to his podcast because it's great, and I love his perspective as an Englishman across the pond supporting a new team in Maine. You know, I'm not even sure exactly what his connection is and why he loves the team, but he loves it as much as anybody, as far as I could tell. Mm-hmm. But he has a song, his outro song, for the end of his podcast is like. It's an AI generated like pop punk song, and it goes way harder in parts than it should. It's like
it's kind of feisty. It's a feisty.
Oh my
song.
God! And like parts of it get me seriously amped. So forgive me, Mike. I don't know if you wrote all the lyrics or if you gave it some actual music and then let AI do its thing, or if you just prompted it one. But either way, you got to check out that.
It's pretty.
You got to check out the podcast and also
hard.
check out the outro. When you come over here, hopefully we'll get you on the podcast. I think you're planning on coming over. He's planning for the home opener or something, so we'll ask you about it in person, hopefully. So.
And then I think the last big thing I just wanted to reiterate is Wednesday, every other Wednesday at Bunker, we're having the Valentine's Bandit practice. Couple hours beforehand, 6 to 8, we do social hour. So if you want to come meet other DU members. Or if you want to participate in chants and songs, helping develop those, work them out, or just learn them, you don't need to be musically gifted.
Sure.
Come on down, 6 to 9 p.m. every other Wednesday at Bunker Brewing. Link to the event is in our Discord as well as online. We've been pushing that out.
I think the next one's the 29th.
29th.
29th will be the next one.
And then if you want to get involved with From the Forest to the Tide, If you have some opinions you want to share, we're working on getting ready for the season. We're going to be doing a lot of cool stuff when we get to games, and we need the help of the community. So if you want to be a part of it, let us know.
And we need a social media person. We could use somebody who's dedicated to making clips from the podcast and posting on social media for the podcast, also for the union, but. That's a discussion to be had. Yeah, get involved, please. And if for nothing else, become a union member so you can access the merch. You gotta be a member to get the merch. It's fantastic. Olive and York, who produced this, they're a soccer football producing company, right? And they're going to be local now. They're moving up to Portland. So I'm excited to speak with those guys and get to know them as well. So I think we're good.
I think we're good.
With an up the hearts.
Let's do it. Up the hearts.